Good afternoon from State Adventures. My name is Carolina, and I'm so happy that we connected about the Galapagos and Machu Picchu. I have so many ideas for you, and I thought that it would be easier to hop on here and go through the trip together. That way, any questions can be answered, maybe even before they come about. So I'm going to share my screen and we can look at the itinerary together. I'm going to send you this PDF. You can follow along, jot down any questions or comments. This is your trip, so we can customize it any way you'd like. So the trip is to Ecuador and Peru, and I chose Ecuador first, following with Peru, mainly because of the weather. The later in the year, the better it will be in Peru. Rainy season ends in March, so April is fantastic. It's one of my favorite months. Everything is blooming and really lush, so it's a really great time to visit, but before all the crowds of the summer are there. But we will start in Ecuador, which will be the highlight of your trip because you really want to do this long period in the Galapagos. I have been to Ecuador 6 times. I have been to the Galapagos many times with large boats, small boats, island hopping, hotel stays. We even camped. So I have a really good background in the region, in Ecuador itself. It's one of my favorite places in South America. But let me start the itinerary to show you what it will be like, what's included, the logistics, and so forth. So April 12th, we will arrive to Quito. So once you land in the Quito airport, there'll be a person, English-speaking guide with a State Adventures sign with your name on it. He's going to take you to a private car and whisk you right into downtown Quito. And I've chosen Plaza Grande for you. It's one of my favorite hotels, mainly because of the location. It's on the main square. You pop out the front door. You know you're in Ecuador. It's super colorful. Lots of lively events going on in the squares there. Great historical building as well. What's included at the hotel? We always include all the taxes and all the breakfast fees so that there's no surprises. I love surprises, but usually in travel, they tend to be negative. So I like to take care of the logistics for you ahead of time. April 13th, you're going to wake up, have breakfast, and the same guide who would have picked you up is going to come back to the hotel and take you on an exploration of Quito. And this is a private tour just for the two of you. It will have the pace set by you. So if you love museums, we're going to spend more time in the museum. If you love the outdoors, we're going to spend a lot more time at the equator line or doing a soft hike. We can take the gondola to the top of the Pichincha volcano. We will invite you to have lunch at the Crater restaurant, with the smoke coming out. It's quite a fabulous city. I've actually lived here for a few months while I was studying in Ecuador, so I know it quite well. So there's that Quito tour that will bring you back to the hotel. You have some free time. And then the next day, the same guide will pick you up again. And today I want to take you outside of the city and I want to show you what life in the Andes is like. We're going to go down the Avenue of the Volcanoes, south of Quito, to the Cotopaxi National Park. And I love going here because on the way, you're going to visit indigenous villages, really colorful markets. It's a really great way to kind of get a glimpse of life in the Andes of Ecuador. So, and then of course, Cotopaxi National Park, this huge looming volcano, lots of wildlife, great soft hiking. And then there's ranches or haciendas scattered all over this park. And we will go to one and we will have lunch there, a really traditional meal with some nice warm drinks, because this is high altitude and it can get quite cold here. So it's a nice little escape to go into one of those little ranches. And then return to Quito, spend the night, and now we're ready to go to the Galapagos. So April 15th, we're going to take you to the airport. And at the airport, I have a Galapagos assistant. They are there every day to assist all of our clients that are flying to the islands. Why? Because the islands are protected by the government, which means there's lots of bureaucracy. You have to get a entry ticket. You have to get a ID card. You have to stamp your passport. You have to check your shoes. You have to check your bags. I mean, there's like 7 stops before you can get on the flight, and everything is in Spanish. So if you don't speak the language, it's really nice to have this assistant who knows, who flies from line to line and helps you through, because it can get quite overwhelming. So once you are on the flight, 2.5 hours, you land in the Galapagos, and there we will have our guide from the islands pick you up, welcome you to the islands, and take you to the hotel, which will be in the village. But en route to the village, we're going to be passing the highlands, and the highlands is kind of the peak cloud forest of Santa Cruz. And we will stop there for lunch and visit a sanctuary of turtles and maybe go to the caves. There's lots to see and do in the highlands. It's a really wonderful part because people think islands, okay, it's all going to be beaches. No way. In the Galapagos, every island is different, and actually every site on every island is different. So you will come across some really interesting things and places and wildlife. And then we're going to go into the village. So the village of Puerto Ayora is quite kind of modern. There's a main strip with little restaurants and bars and shops. And one of the hotels there is the Icala. We really like it because it's one of the newest ones. It's modern and it's centrally located. You can literally walk out the door and explore the little village. So really great place to stay when you're there for a few nights before your cruise, which is what we're doing. So the following day, April 16th, our guide from the islands will pick you up and we will do some things that you will not experience on the cruise. So we're going to go to Tortuga Bay, we're going to go kayaking, we're going to go to Academy Bay. So you will see really stunning beaches, lots of iguanas here. I mean, this is like home to those giant iguanas. You can snorkel here, you can go swimming, of course, kayaking. There's a whole mangrove system. So lots to really enjoy. We're going to take you out for lunch. Of course, that's included. You can see up under every date, I put a BL, BLD. Those letters stand for the meals that are included. So BL means breakfast and lunch is included in the cost of your trip. I don't like to include all of your meals. Why? Because if there is access to meals, access to fun restaurants, access to exploring on your own, by all means, please go out and do that on your own. Because when I have to arrange a meal when it's like in town, that means hiring a guide to pick you up, walk you to the restaurant, prepay for like a touristy menu. You don't want to do that. So we will arrange meals while we're doing excursions and we're out and about in the middle of nowhere. But other meals may not be included simply for the fact that I want you to kind of absorb the beauty of Ecuador there. And of course, the guide will guide you on where to eat, which restaurants will be filled with locals, where not to eat and so forth. So that's our day there. We go back to the hotel, and this is kayaking in Academy Bay. And then on April 17th, you have shown interest in diving, or at least for your husband. So on this day, I will split you up, and your husband will be picked up from the hotel early in the morning at 7 in the morning, and he will be taken to Floriana. Floriana Island is one of the places where there's lots of shark activity, which is not really known in the Galapagos or not seen a lot. So it's really exciting because on your cruise, you probably won't come across any sharks. So this is really a great place. And he will go diving. It's a professional team. It's a shared experience. So there may be 10 other people on there diving with him. They'll have an opportunity to dive twice. They'll have lunch on board, and then they'll come back. I chose this itinerary because after reviewing your cruise itinerary, which we will get to shortly, you will notice that Floriana is not on your cruise. So I didn't want to double visit any islands. So I have taken the painstaking liberty to go through each spot, make sure nothing is doubled. And so you visit as many islands as possible. I mean, this itinerary is incredible. You will pretty much cover the whole archipelago. So it's quite a feat. So while he is off diving with his new buddies on the diving crew, you will be picked up and you will be taken to snorkel in Grietas. And Grietas is right in Santa Cruz. It's just a little boat away from the main square of the village. And there you will pass pink salt farms and a really great little secluded beach with mangrove trees. And of course, lots of iguanas, lots of activity. But Las Grietas is one of the most spectacular places to snorkel here, literally 15 minutes away from your hotel. So your husband will go off diving to another island. You will go off to the Grietas to go snorkeling. And we will include lunch for both of you, of course. And then April 18th, this is when we are starting our adventure on the cruise. So April 18th is the only date on the itinerary that you cannot change, even though everything else is flexible, we can tweak everything. But I've chosen this cruise for you for many reasons. One, because the itinerary is fantastic. You will visit 8 islands on a 7-night itinerary, and you will visit 2 to 3 spots a day. So it's incredible. Why? Because the Infinity boat, which is the boat that I chose for you, it's this one. It's one of the newer yachts. It was built specifically for the Galapagos, which means it is really fast. When it's fast, it means that when you're sleeping and eating, you're moving, and you're getting from place to place much faster, which means you can visit more sites. Incredible. And it also visits the whole western part of the island. So you're going to go to Isabela, which is, the most famous island to visit. It has an active volcano on there. There's penguins there, so you really don't want to miss it. A lot of itineraries don't go there. This one does, so I'm very excited to share that with you. It holds 16 passengers maximum. It has 8 cabins. And because you're going to be on there for 8 days, 7 nights, I love that it has balconies. I just went to the Galapagos I took my father on one of these 16-person catamarans, actually, last August, and we got a cabin with a balcony, and it makes such a difference. It's like, first of all, it's doubling the size of your room. Second of all, being able to drink a hot coffee at sunrise in the Galapagos on your own private balcony is just amazing. So Infinity, very modern boat. Lots of space. There's multiple layers. You can go to the top deck. You can go to the main deck. You're going to have food available indoors, outdoors. There's a hot tub. So even though the itinerary is quite busy, you're going to be rising with the sun sometimes. You're going to be snorkeling and kayaking at sunset sometimes. There's still lots of time to, take a snooze on the top deck and really feel like it's a vacation, even though I hate calling Galapagos vacation because it's truly an expedition. You're going to see a lot. So Galapagos cruising, 7 nights, every day you're going to get off on different sites, different islands, different wildlife. You're going to see black beaches, white sand beaches, red beaches. You're going to be able to snorkel every day. Wetsuits are included, all the snorkeling gear. You don't have to bring anything. So the cruise really takes care of everything. On board, you're going to have a local chef. They specialize in Ecuadorian food as well as international food. So there's a variety every day, really beautiful, fresh produce. So I think you're going to be quite happy with this choice. It goes on for 7 nights and ends right back in Santa Cruz. So on Santa Cruz, we're going to pick you up from the boat. And instead of taking you back to the village, which you have already experienced, I wanted to really end on a high note, and as in the highlands. And let me know how you feel about this. But this is the Galapagos Safari Camp. It is a luxury African style camp. Maybe you've been on a African safari, Kenya, Tanzania. If not, let me know. We'll send you there next. But this is the type of accommodations here, and it is done with perfection. So we're going to pick you up from the cruise and take you here. This is amongst a plantation filled with a sanctuary for tortoises. So it is fantastic. You can have a turtle hanging out by the stairs of your tent. So we have included 2 nights here for you, mainly because the Galapagos cruise is very busy. And here you'll be able to just kind of reflect back everything that you have seen, enjoy it, beautiful meals, sunset at their overlook. I mean, look at that view. It's quite spectacular, completely different from what you have experienced on the cruise. So I suggest that we keep it, but you let me know if it's too much time in the islands. Maybe you want to have a longer cruise instead, or maybe you just want to remove it. Maybe sleeping in a tent does not sound like fun, but please note, it is like Egyptian cotton, beautiful bed, private bathroom inside with plumbing, electricity, all of that is inside your tent. So it's really just an experience. And then April 27th, we are ready to leave Ecuador behind and move on to Peru. So we're going to fly you from the Galapagos to the mainland, such as Quito or Guayaquil, and connect to Lima, Peru. So Lima, Peru, you've said that you have extra days, and I suggest that we kind of spend a few days in this really modern city on the ocean. So we're going to spend 2 nights at the AC Hotel in Miraflores. I like when the hotel matches the city, and Lima's very modern and metropolitan, so this hotel is as well. And same concept. You arrive at the airport, say the adventure sign, local guide from Lima will take you around. On April 28th, we're going to get to see all the highlights of Lima. It's a really wonderful city, great museums, great views of the ocean, Lovers Park, and so on. And also one of the best places to eat. So if you want reservations at one of the top restaurants like El Central, which won #2 restaurant in the world, let me know and we will get you a table. If we book now, we could probably get the table for April. And then April 29th, we'll pick you up and take you to the airport for a very short flight, 50-minute flight to Cusco. And now we're landing in the Inca Empire. So we're going to cover Sacred Valley, Machu Picchu, and Cusco. And the reason for that order is because of the altitude. People often land in Cusco and go to a hotel and rest. No, Cusco is really high. It's 10,000 feet. You want to definitely go somewhere lower to acclimate. So I pick you up and take you 2,000 feet lower to Sacred Valley. And on that first day, I arranged the way we tour things to be very scenic and amazing to the eyes, but easy on the body and not very strenuous. So we're going to go to Salineras, we're going to go to Moras Moray, their Inca laboratories, and then we're going to stay at Inca Terra Hacienda Urubamba. This is a really wonderful boutique hotel. Inca Terra is a Peruvian chain. They have maybe 6 hotels, and they really are all about making you feel like you're in the destination that you're in. So I love the Inca Terras. And then April 30th, we are going to sightsee Sacred Valley. Indigenous communities. We here at State Adventures sponsor the Mesminai community. It's a very remote place in the mountains. And when you visit them, you get to kind of get a feel for how they live. You meet the shaman, you meet one of the families. It's a really wonderful experience. And of course, we'll show you the highlights like Ollantaytambo, which is the largest Inca ruins in the Sacred Valley. We'll have a nice lunch and we'll spend another night acclimating because the next day, Machu Picchu. We'll take you to the train in the morning. It's a 2-hour ride because now that we're in Sacred Valley, we're halfway there. So it's only 2 hours on the train. And once you arrive in Machu Picchu, my porters will meet you there, take your bags to take them to the hotel, while you and your private guide will go up to the ruins and have a tour of the ruins. Now, you're only bringing small luggage here. All the large luggage, which is not allowed on the train. You see all these logistics? This is why we take care of it for you, because trying to wrap everything into a neat little package on your own is quite difficult without a local team. I have been selling and putting together Peru trips since 2006. I have been to Peru many times as well. I've been in November, now I'm going back in December to check out some new sites. I'm always learning, always visiting, always inspecting, because the more I see, the more I can share with my guests. So anyway, once you get up to Machu Picchu, it's a permit for 4 hours. So you have plenty of time to see the ruins with your private guide. And then instead of returning to Cusco, which a lot of people do, we will have you spend the night in the village. Now, there is a luxury hotel at the site, right at the gate of the ruins. It's like $1,500 a night. And although it's a spectacular location, you arrive late at night and you leave early in the morning. And to me, that's just such a waste. So we will spend a night on the river at the Casa del Sol Boutique Hotel, great little place, lovely dinner, and then rise with the sun and go back to the ruins for sunrise. And sunrise at Machu Picchu, it's not a sun coming out from behind the mountain because of the altitude. It is just change of colors. So it's, for photography, stunning, and way less people. Only about 500 people are allowed in the morning, as opposed to 4,000 people who are allowed in the afternoon. So just think about that. And then we're ready to take the train back to Cusco, and now we're fully acclimated, so we can really enjoy the city. I chose the Casa Andina Premium Hotel. I have stayed here a number of times. Actually, I took my parents and we spent one of their birthdays here. So really great service, great location, great restaurant. So I love a hotel that kind of offers that full package. And then day 22, which is May 3rd, we're already in May, which is amazing. We're going to explore Cusco. Fully acclimated, it's a breeze. It's a cobblestone city, so there's lots of walking. San Blas, the gallery section of the town, the cathedral, the main square, Coricancha Temple, and then of course outside of the city, all the ruins and the fortress. So lots to see and do, and we will again go at your pace, based on your interests. It's a private guide with a driver, with a car. All of our tours are like done that way. So when you're tired of walking, we just hop in the car and continue and spend your last night in Cusco. And maybe I can help you arrange a dinner. I love the restaurant that's inside a local museum here. Museum shuts down, but you get to eat inside afterwards. So May 4th is your last day. We'll take you to the airport, fly you to Lima, and here you will connect with your international flight home. So this 23-day trip, with everything included, 2 weeks in the Galapagos, all of the Quito and mainland services, all of this Machu Picchu adventure in Peru, all of the internal flights, all of the logistics, all of the transportation is included, and based on 2 people, it's $19,990. You let me know your thoughts. Is the trip too long? Is it too busy? Do we need more relaxation? Or are you ready to add on Lake Titicaca or the Amazon? I mean, there's so much to see and do in South America. Don't get me started on adding things. But I'll let you go now. Enjoy the video. Really think about what's included, what you can handle. If it's too much, we can tweak it any way you want it. It's my pleasure to help. I look forward to chatting with you. Happy travels.